Wonderful. And our next presentation is by Ikuri Matsuoka from Kumamoto University, who will be talking about sound insulation tiles to help calm crying kindergartners. All right, there you go.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having such a grateful opportunity to present our work. My name is Ikui Matsuoka. I'm doing my master degree at Kumamoto University in Japan. I'm going to make a presentation about a field experiment on the effect of sound absorption on accumulation of new children to kindergarten. Part 1 analysis of crying children and indoor noise levels. It is important for children's daycare to provide quiet and less reverberant rooms because children are in the process of language and hearing development. Classrooms with long reverberation disturb children's communication, which makes children speak louder when talking with friends or teachers. However, there is no standard or guidelines for acoustic design of preschool and school classrooms in Japan, so we can hardly find daycare facilities with sound-absorbed rooms. It is expected that children entering daycare for the first time may feel stressed by the difficulty of verbal communication and noisiness. Then, in this study, we conducted an experiment with temporary installation of sound absorber in actual classrooms and examined whether sound absorption could mitigate such adverse effect. This is an overview of the experiment. The experiment period was from April, which is the beginning of the school year in Japan, to March from 2024 to 2025. Audio and video were recorded weekdays. The target room were 4 rooms in total. That is 2 rooms in each for 2-year-old and 3-year-old groups. Table 1 shows the number of children in each class in April, and Table 2 shows the schedule of installation of sound absorbers. Sound absorbing material was temporarily installed to 2 rooms in April. Then, after 6 months, we removed and installed absorbers repeatedly. In this presentation, I will explain the result from 2-year-old groups up to November. First, about the reverberation time. By the installation of sound absorbers made of polyester fiber, as shown in these photos, the reverberation time was reduced to 0.4 or 0.5 seconds. We made 2 kinds of analysis. One is a comparison of the number of crying children in the first 2 months from April to May. The target time was 5 minutes from the starting of the daily morning gathering. I observed the audio and video recordings, and in total, 40 days were compared between the classrooms with and without sound absorption. The result is shown in these graphs. The x-axis of the graph is the date, and the y-axis is the crying time ratio, in which the crying was heard. As you can see, much more crying time ratio was observed in the room without sound absorption in April. Then, in May, the number of cries is about the same in both rooms. That may indicate that they were somewhat accustomed to daycare. The second analysis is a comparison of room sound pressure levels in 2 rooms 6 months after the entering of daycare. The hypothesis was that children's voice in the room without sound absorption might become louder. From the daily audio recordings, average sound pressure level of 1 and 2 kHz octave band was calculated for 5 seconds from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 1 and 2 kHz band level was chosen as the indicator of children's voice. Then, percentile level of upper 25% and 50% were calculated as a representative value. The orange line indicates the room 1 without sound absorption at April, and the blue line indicates the room 2 with sound absorption in April. The marker indicates the installation condition of sound absorption. As you can see, the level in the room 1 without sound absorber was about 3 decibel higher than that in the room 2. In early November, some observers were removed to make both of the rooms sit in the same condition, and the level of the room 1 was about 2 decibel higher than that in room 2. The 2 decibel might be not so much, but this result implies the voice level in room 1 become louder without sound absorption for 6 months. To summarize the result, in the classroom without sound absorption, more children cried in April, and 1 and 2 kHz octave band level were higher in November. This result looks clearly indicate the effect of sound absorption, but this is only from a trial of experiment, so we think that further investigation are needed. And actually, we have already started the same experiment since this April. That's all my presentation. Thank you for listening.
And anyone in the room, if they have questions, they can ask one as well. But my first question is about some of the responses that you've gotten. You talked to the teachers. I think you mentioned in your abstract you were able to speak to teachers, and they said that their quality of life after having the sound installation was better. Other than being able to measure the children's crying level, are you planning to, or were you able to measure how the children felt about the installation?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So if I can, we would like to interview the children, but this is very difficult because they are only 2 years old and 3 years old. So we try to analyze the data from only our standpoint. But from this year, we are trying to cooperate with experts in childhood care and education, so they know well about the children. So we can start to analyze with the perspective of both architecture acoustics and child care, so we can stand in the children's point from this year.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's very young to get their experimental observations, but we have some online questions.
And you answered one of the online questions, we have one more from Anashay Bendari. Anashay asks, do you have any hypotheses about why children seem to prefer the quieter environments, either psychologically or physiologically?
So we think that as I mentioned in the abstract and also the first slide, our children are in the process of developing their language and speaking skill, so they have less ability to listen than us. So we think that sorry, question again, please. I forgot. Question again.
Oh,
sorry.
sure. The question was if you have any hypotheses about why the children seem to prefer quieter environments.
Okay. So we try to when the reverberant is so long, children are very difficult to listen to their teachers and what friends say. So we think that the quiet room is very important for children. So it's very easy to imagine when children in the church or like concert hall, they may very feel difficult to listen. So it's very easy to imagine. So we need to care about acoustic design for children.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
And we actually have one more question.
Yeah.
This one is from Jessica Sansaran. Were the two rooms used in this study the same size? Did they include the same items like furniture and stuff?
Yes. So as you can see from our ground plan, the room 22 and room 21 shape are different. Room 21 is a little bit smaller than room 22. So the room size is different, but we try to make the room's reverberation time almost the same. So we try to set the condition in the same.
Great.
Thank you so much.